Hi all. Everything used in my videos is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourself, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Hi everybody. This is going to be one of those really fabulous short videos that you guys love, where we're looking at the new PR team and what they're doing to help Meghan and Harry with their image. Now, I myself commented, as you can see, on my Twitter account on November 8th that I had noted Harry and Meghan had gone quiet. There were no Zoom calls, no outings, no press. Why was everything so quiet all of a sudden? And I even remarked, this is the calm before the storm. And wasn't I right? Because we all know that not long afterwards, they put out the story about a miscarriage that occurred 5 months earlier. This is one of those stories that you can't criticize, because if you do, you look like a jerk, and they don't even have to prove that she was ever pregnant, and it's supposed to help their image. While the dust is settling from this revelation and the fact that she's claiming miscarriage is a stigma, which 80% of people have stated it's not a stigma and they don't know what she's talking about, they've started flooding us again with their stories. The first story that their new PR team released was all about how they were going to have a quiet Thanksgiving dinner at home, cooked with vegetables from the garden that Meghan had been growing, which I find interesting since they just moved in July and she was on all those Zoom calls and she supposedly had a miscarriage in July. When exactly did she have time to grow vegetables? And the next story that just came out is all about how the two of them are so excited to decorate their new home for Christmas. I'm sure everybody must realize by now that they're trying to portray themselves as just a normal family doing normal things. It's not really working, but they're starting to flood us again with story after story. This is where it really starts to get interesting, because we all know and we've all complained that every time they go to do something, they bring a photographer and they copyright the pics and they merch Meghan's clothes. How many times have we all complained about that and said that if you really want to do work, you go and do the work. You don't take pictures and you don't announce it. You just go and do. So it was inevitable that these kinds of stories now were going to come out, that Prince Harry went and worked for a whole 4 hours in a casual outfit, and he was very focused on the work, and it was hard work because it was hot in California. Considering his background, which is really only cutting ribbons and shaking hands, I'm sure for him to actually do work like the rest of the world, it was hard for him. In my opinion, there were no photographers there to copyright any pictures because Meghan wasn't there. And I think in her narcissistic brain, she thinks that she's really the draw. Then you see them putting out articles like this one, where it says that the two of them could stop being royal after the Queen's 12-month review. You can tell this was not put out by somebody at the palace. It was put out by PR people, because what it says in the article is that they could lose their HRH and they are right now choosing not to use it. It doesn't say they're banned. They're just deciding not to use it. And we already know from Megxit that that's actually not true. Now, as I've told you before, Harry and Meghan recently hired a new public relations team to try to build their post-palace careers. Let me just say that I think giving out all this information, they're basically violating their own privacy. And I think that this stuff could all be used against them in court when they finally do make it to court. You can't scream about privacy if you're telling us all your plans every day. Her PR team is really going to have a hard time with this one, because we all know that she paid to have a letter she wrote about her miscarriage placed in the New York Times. Everybody who read it said it was sappy and over the top, and we all knew it had to be plagiarized from somewhere, and sure enough, here it is. Let's not forget what Meghan said in her letter. Meghan's story read that as she clutched her firstborn, she knew she was losing her second. Of course, this excerpt from Chasing Light, Finding Hope Through the Loss of Miscarriage says, I clutched her tightly and cried. As I tenderly held my first newborn in my arms, I was saying goodbye to my third. Plagiarized much? I don't know about you guys, but I feel really bad for this PR team. There's a reason why they're the 12th sets of people that they've hired. I mean, this is just unrecoverable. My goodness, what do you guys think? Has the PR team convinced you yet that these two are just one of the crowd? And as an FYI, I got a really good idea for a video that I am currently working on that will be out this week about one of the sugars who continually writes on my wall. It shows our back and forth when I asked her to please just give me some examples of why she loves these two so much. I think you guys will find it very illuminating, so stay tuned for that. I, for one, am waiting very patiently to see what's going to come out to refute the plagiarism claim. Although we all know she's plagiarized before, this is a big one. Don't forget to leave your comments below, and as always, have a fabulous day.